Well, hello and welcome to Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah Sachs, your medium on the go. Now, before we get to happy hour, I just want to briefly tell you that I have finally put up my first meditative exercise visualization video, and which can be found for sitting in the power. And I'm doing it with the chakras. So I was thinking maybe once a week, once a month, I'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to broaden the my channel a little bit and have it because it is spiritual. There is a spiritual theme to this. So I thought by adding these exercises for people to do to sharpen up their own intuitive abilities is something that I just started. So we're doing the sitting in the power with the chakras. So go look her up on my channel, and if you type in sitting in the power with my name, you can it comes up right away too. Okay, so wowie. So how much longer will happy hour hegseth last? Lots going on today. We've had I was listening to all the reports on Midas Touch and other like-minded channels, and of course there was the Signal app that he used to plan a war, plan an invasion. And so because Easter is such a family holiday, let's let the whole family in on it, the wife and all this sort of. I'm surprised he didn't let the kids on it. So we've got that going on. And then he's been firing people right and left and right, and all sorts of things. Because like any good alcoholic, he's paranoid as hell. Like the whole world is against him. And if you don't believe it, go watch that interview he did at the White House for the Easter egg roll today. And he really puts a whole new dimension on day drinking. He was slurring his words. The kids were in the background. I'm doing it all for the kids. And he's pointing to them and these little faces looking like, I wonder how old you have to be before they let you go to an ACOA meeting, which is adult children of alcoholics. And I thought, whoa, they're therapists. There's a therapist in the third grade, right? And a future therapist in the third grade that's going to be making a nice living off of those kids. Okay. Will it ever stop? So, at any rate, and the theme card is, as you can see on the thumbnail, it's the Page of Cups in reverse. Now, I was thinking the Knight of Cups. Nah. Because maybe if I hadn't seen him, doing that interview at the White House lawn today, I might have thought, no, but he needs the titty baby card. And the titty baby card with the cups reversed is a titty baby crying into his beer, playing victim or whatever it is that he drinks. So he gets the Page of Cups in reverse. So now NPR has reported, and they are a reliable news source, that the toddler is thinking of firing him. But see, I'm kind of wondering, because he has to admit he was wrong in hiring him, so he has to find a way to do it that doesn't make him look like the total idiot that he is. So we're going to take a little bit of a dive into that. I'm sure that it leaked out. That whole thing is a sieve. That's one big sieve. So, Press Secretary Barbie Bimbo with the cross, Christine. I said, "Oh, he has every faith in him." I thought, "Oh, that sounds like the famous last words." I thought, "Oh, this is real. We've heard that before." So we want to see what's really going on behind the scenes. Then I want to do another read. I want to do maybe a short read on the drinking, because I know some Democrats are saying this is a distraction. No, it isn't a distraction. When somebody is in charge of our military and there are lives at stake, we cannot have a practicing alcohol, though he doesn't need to practice that much. We do not have, we can't afford to have an active alcoholic, in charge of the military and everything. And I can go on about the Republicans, but I'd like to slap the Democrats in the Senate that confirmed him. What were they thinking of? Unless maybe they have some issues. Of course, this is all for entertainment only. So I'm going to take a look at his drinking, and then that leads us into what I just said, why this matters to us. And that might be the mid-size reading. We'll see how the time goes. So here we go with happy hour. Okay, so I'm going to use the... I do love this Gilded Royale deck. So I'm going to shuffle these up. I do some pre-shuffling. Maybe we'll use that. And then the Reflective Tarot, which is a version of the Rider deck, the standard deck. And so, okay, we shuffle some more, and then, let's see, oh, here we got these guys. I do like this deck. It's attractive, but these cards are so thick, so I'm going to have to really break them in before I can do the poker shuffle with them. We want to get them good and shuffled. Okay. All right. Oh, almost lost them all. Okay. So, for our indicator card, where we are at now as far as what may be happening behind the scenes to figure out how we're going to get rid of him. Okay. Which they should not have had. Well, but look at who we've got. Okay. So, we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. So, this is the part of the Presidente toddler who is, well, he is this is the corrupt king. He never met a bribe that he didn't like. Okay, so we have the corrupt king here in reverse. I think that in the material way, he's trying to think like, how can I do this and save face? How can I raise money? Oh, how can I turn this into a fundraiser? Yes. So I think the wheels are turning for that. Aside from the really bad look that this has, even for him. And then the energy that we have crossing this is, Six of Cups in reverse. It's kind of like, when all else fails, let's go into fantasy land of the past. And make this, I'm going to call this the Make America Great. Going back to what never existed in the first place. So, they're trying to do, the energy is they're trying to do this to not look like total jerks and to have it look like a 50s sitcom, I guess. So maybe they're pressuring, maybe they're pressuring him to quit. Maybe they're bribing him or something. I think that would be the first line of defense. And then let's see, underlying all of this is, okay, good old Five of Swords. I mean, at this point, the leader, the big bully leader, who should never have done this in the first place, but he's just been so busy being the big bully and taking the spoils of the war he thought he won, and having people deserting him and going into the background. This has been coming up quite a bit, reading on this situation. Then we have, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, the Moon card and the lunacy. So this is the debate of, well, can we do this in a civilized way with the tame dog, but then that feral dog really wants to howl at the moon. So they're kind of, I think this may be telling me that he's got to be, Fotis has got to be going nuts. We're not talking about the most stable emotional person. And so I think that he probably wants to go howling at the moon and doing something stupid. And yet the Steve Millers and these people that still have half a brain cell are trying to say, no, you've got to do this in a way that looks good and that doesn't make you look crazy. Okay. That's got to be, the feral dog is that's the ketchup hurling dog. The tame one is maybe the people around him trying to keep him in check. They're loyal, but they'll try to keep him in check because it makes them look bad. Okay, so then in the future with this is, Four of Pentacles in reverse. In this context, he is just hanging on to the old ways of doing things, and it's but he kind of has to let it go, because on the other hand, well, this is like being the Gemini, one side of him wants to let her rip and the other is just kind of like hanging on for dear life. So how much fun is that to be him these days? Okay, so in opposition, we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. They know he's got to go, but they don't quite know how to present this. This is an interesting thing because the two patrons of the arts that are usually in this one, they're kind of off the set, so that they don't even know who they're going to have to be negotiating with. This thing is such a mess. Okay, so we got that. Now we've got, on the conscious level, we have, oh boy, we have the hot devil, and this is the energy. This is the energy of this whole regime. I think that consciously they know we have to do this in a way that we don't look like total jerks, but behind the scenes we're probably blackmailing him or hiding his booze, or we're doing something. Well, the devil is about addictions and codependence too, but he makes it look so charming in this card, the hot devil. So okay, so consciously they know they've got to, they've got him so hooked. Also, he thinks that he may come to the realization, happy hour, may come to the realization that complimenting Fotis on his hair and makeup and telling him how that may not be working, that things are this serious. So consciously they're trying to kind of do it and maybe keep him around somehow, but not in this position. So consciously it's the devil energy. And then subconsciously very, very worried about things off balance. I know that, Trump is pouring out this feeling of confidence and denial, which I mean, which is like that, you know, you kind of wonder what it's like to be in that head. So, subconsciously, deep down inside, there is a fear that things are going to be off balance. And that means that the donations may be drying up. So, that's what I was saying early. They may be trying to think of a way to get the donations to make some money off of this. Good luck with that. Not even in my wildest imagination, like, oh, or I think, oh, we didn't know he was drinking, or something like that. Okay, so in the past we have the Page of Wands. This is telling me that this whole thing isn't new. But for some reason, you know, the beginning a while back, I guess with his first public intoxication overseas, that was charming. That they had a spark of an idea of like, maybe we have to start thinking of how we're going to get rid of him. But that was only the beginning of an idea with the Page of Wands. Upright, actually. So, where are they at now? Boy, would it be something to be a cockroach on the wall of the Oval Office or Mar-a-Lago or wherever the hell he is tonight. Okay, so then we have the Three of Cups. Now this is a weird Three of Cups. This is usually kind of a female energy of celebrating, but it's very chaotic. This is telling me that this kind of whatever's going on in his head tonight, it's very much like, oh, in the Garcia case, the Supreme Court voted unanimously in my favor, and I'm thinking he's told some whoppers, but and it's repeated by Steve Miller. I would love to know the thought process that got him to that. So there may be kind of a chaotic celebration because maybe they have thought of the genius way of how they're going to get rid of him, but what they don't realize, and these cups are flowing over, is that they're going to try to reason with a drunk. You cannot reason with people like that. But I think maybe they're celebrating because they think they've come up with the perfect idea. Maybe they're all getting a little bit intoxicated and thinking, I got the most wonderful idea. And then, in the light of day, like, maybe that wasn't so wonderful after all. But they're kind of celebrating because now they have this brilliant idea. And hopefully he'll sober up long enough for them to do it. It's absolutely mind-boggling. So in the near future, we have like, well, after this great idea, it's like, they're really carrying a heavy burden with this one. They've got so many more to go, but they're really carrying ahead because they have to they're dealing with a loose cannon. Well, not that they have ever had anybody with certificates of mental health, but this one is really bad. So they're feeling the weight. I would say, like, after they say, I have a brilliant idea, let's toast it, and then like, I don't know, and then let's see, let's go out to a little more longer range thing. Okay, they're gonna that's a good one to follow, the Ten of Wands. They're gonna absolutely have to come up with something. They may not be able to save face because they can't. This is like all these wands. It's like NPR and any other decent news outlet, Reuters or whatever. These are all the leaks that are coming at them. But I'll bet you that idiot has that. I mean, this is like, I would bet that moron, of all the people he's fired the wrong ones, and the leakers are still leaking. That place is leaking more than Diaper Dawn's diapers at the end of the day. Okay? All right. So we got this guy. in reverse. See, in our upright, as I've said before, he's able to fight them off. In reverse, it's too much. And look, he's got that open window. So he goes back and back. If those things don't get him, he'll just fall out the window. Oh, falling out the window. How Russian. How very Russian. Maybe they're saying to Putin, what would you do? Okay. This has now become the Putin solution. I'm not saying they would do it, but Putin was saying, what's the problem? Give him a cup of tea. Or put him something in his booze, his vodka. Have him stand by the window. So this is interesting. So I just got the big psychic hit that this 7 of Wands in reverse, that is the Putin solution. Okay, by the open window in this deck in particular. Okay, yeah, they're going to have to do something because they're going to get backed up. Now, this could be a matter of weeks, but I'm starting to think maybe not. Maybe not. This is the 7 of Wands, possibly within the week. Who knows? So, in the hopes and the fears, I'm drawn to this other deck. In the hopes and the fears we have. Well, this is in reverse. So this is actually a card of hope because he's gone about as low as he can go, but that's either upright or in reverse. And it's being stabbed in the back, but it's in reverse. It's about gravity pulling them out, and there will be scars left, but some healing can begin. So that's what they're hoping for, is let's do this so we can move on. But they don't realize that that in order for that to happen, they have to feel the sting and the sword. So there we go. So let's see. In the conclusion of this mess, we have the Wheel of Fortune. This can be good or this can be bad. I would say that in the beginning, when he's gone, they'll get a little bit more optimistic and maybe a few people will like them or something. But this is also the card of karma. And I think that in this respect, it's pretty uncertain as to how this is going to turn. Because this could turn in the favor of the American people, which means they'll all be gone. So I would say what this is saying is they may have come up with a few ideas over cocktails. Wouldn't that be ironic tonight? But when they realize they're really dealing with a drunk, and you can't reason with them, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. So I think they're hashing things out. I think it looks like they're fighting. They're arguing. Because they all have different ideas, but I think they know he's got to go. He's got to go. So that it's always good to try to take the route of, your life would be better if you would resign and give them some really good reasons. And I think that's probably what they're going over on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like, but then, I doubt very much he's going to be sober tomorrow. Just they need to hope he's not going to be out in public like he was today with his day drinking. Oh, I thought I feel so sorry for those kids. If his wife, not so much. She's probably typical Al-Anon. God. So, okay. So then we have here, what happened to that little deck my new one that I'm so fond of? Let's see, where are you? Oh, here it is. The little baby deck. Okay, so, which takes us to his drinking. Okay, so that's going to be a real teens. Well, we'll see. Okay, if I lay down one card, I'll kind of know how many I have to do. Okay, so then use this other deck here. And this one's easy to shuffle. Okay. So. Yeah, we'll see about his... We know he's got a problem, but... and it's not going to get any better. I mean, I cannot believe that the Senate confirmed... I mean, that alone, forget about the inexperience, which is vast. His sketchy record of, the nicest way I can put it is, for entertainment purposes only, sexual harassment. That's the sanitized version. So we've got a drunk who has women problems, and especially in the military. It's really bad when they have those issues. So we got that, and it does affect us. Lives are involved. Boy, it used to, I mean, if you go to work at McDonald's, you're going to have to take a test. And if you smoked pot like 3 weeks before at a party, took a couple of hits off a joint and maybe don't smoke that often, that shows up on the test, and they don't get that stupid job. Here you have someone that's outwardly drunk, and he gets the job. And then we had Kavanaugh, who was drunk for entertainment purposes only. But, yeah, I know when someone's drunk or not. So we've had these people getting confirmed. What the hell is wrong with these enablers? Okay, so his drinking. Okay, so we're going to pull a card on his drinking and see how that goes. Okay. It's not going to get any better, but that's what they're telling themselves. Oh, maybe it won't be so bad. Okay, so we have, here we go. The High Priestess holding on to the deep, dark secrets. This guy has issues. This guy has a lot of issues. When she's upright, they're kind of hidden. When she's in reverse, they kind of have a way of spilling out. So she's sitting between the dark and the light pillars. And he's really on the dark side. He's not shining that light through. So this is all pretty dark. So let's see what the next one is. And then we have, the King of Swords. So I think this may be a bit of a shorter reading. The King of Swords is, usually it's a legal profession, but it is the male energy of being truthful. I would say this is opposing, this is in opposition to the High Priestess, definitely. And I think that there could be somebody waiting in the background that's going to expose the truth and say he can't go on, we can't go on with this. And it would be nice if he was a Republican. That would be really, really nice if he's a Republican. So I think that's in the works. There may be one sane person that's talking to them as we speak right now. So let's see. And oh boy, of course, he's a tower waiting to happen. If you saw that, and I mean, if I could probably edit that in if I really wanted to, but I've seen enough of it. I think you have. His performance at that picnic in broad daylight, and then going into not taking any responsibility and blaming the press. Typical alcoholic behavior. It's everybody's fault but mine. But I would say this is funny because this tower, the fire's in there, and and this is part of that. We have the crown coming off. That there's a major drunken experience that's getting ready to go. He's a tower waiting to happen, and this has been building up for a while. He didn't quite go into meltdown mode today, but he was visibly intoxicated. So what are we... Interesting. Ten of Swords in reverse. You know, I have looked at this too in doing readings with people in recovery. The Ten of Swords, whether it's upright or in reverse, it is the card of hitting bottom. Now, with this being in reverse, okay, the one of my spirit team members said that there may be a quick reprieve, that he will think that he has hit bottom, but not quite yet. He may have a reprieve and may do a 30-day wonder. I think that's what this is saying, is that he may do, he may, go rolling out on the pink cloud, go to some meetings and say he's got this thing down pat, but then this tells me relapse. So I want to do a couple of clarifiers. Yeah, because the Tower would probably be the event, and then this would be like something really bad happening that would make him want to straighten up, but it would be only for a little while, and then, oh, I'm doing so well, I think I can have a drink now. So let's do a couple of clarifiers on this. Okay, I want to do one on this guy here. Okay, first we do the King of Swords. The King of Swords is trying to deal with the King of Cups in reverse, which is what he is. He's in a responsible position, and this guy has a drinking problem. So, you got a face card with the cups in reverse. He is not holding it together. Let's see, what is he doing? Is he pouring that? Yes. Okay, so here we have him. This really is leading up to this, and this is a person that's saying, enough of your BS. Could possibly be in recovery, saying, I've heard it all before. You can't tell me anything that's new. So we have, see how he's pouring that? Let's see, he's pouring that out. He's got one cup that he's pouring it out. So that he's at the stage, I think, where he'll pour it out, but look, he's got the cup in the other hand. So it'll be short-lived. He'll be the 30-day wonder, and in those very restricted AA meetings where like the whole world can't come in, and he'll be telling people about their higher power and what they need to do to stay sober and this and that. I've seen a million of those guys at the meetings, and the next thing you know, the few days later, like when I lived in Seattle, I'd walk through the Pike Place Market and see him. Oh, there he is at the bar at Lowe's, just getting hammered. Okay. So that's what this guy is. The most fascinating deck. So then we've got him here, kind of with a bottom that's not, if he were upright, maybe it would be more of a bottom, but, and kind of like that false healing thing. So let's see, let's put another card down here. Oh boy. Page of Swords in reverse. The denial is still strong, lying to himself. So this is telling me he would be doing this just for appearance's sake. He may give that a try. Okay, I'll go to AA, that kind of thing. But he's just lying to himself and everybody else, like a kid. Not a very good one, lying like a little kid. Little kids lie better than he does. Then we have, the Hanged Man in reverse. So, had the Hanged Man been upright, he would have taken the time, reflected, and said, you know what, I can no longer do this. Take it a day at a time. But the Hanged Man is in reverse. And so this woman's kind of like, oh, come on, you can have just one. So then he would do that. So I think, yep, that really tells the story, is that I would say that I'm going to bet there could be some bargaining and the promise that he is going to stay sober. He's seen the light. There may be the Tower is saying that there may be another incident coming up in the not too distant future. They may want to clip his wings before that happens, but there's something And sometimes the tower can be an accumulation of a whole bunch of stuff. So then, yep, he's in so much denial that, and I think the tower moment is probably the fact that the word has gotten out that they're really talking about canning his ass. That's it. So then he's going to come with the promises of AA meetings, and he's going to become the big expert on alcoholism, and he'll be maybe the big 30-day wonder, and boom, and tutoring everybody on how to work their program. But he's one of those people that I think he's capable of doing that. If if he gets fired, forget it. No AA for him. But I think he would do that as a bargaining thing. Okay. So, this is not fluff, Democrats. This matters. This is very important. It's not only because I'm in recovery, like since 1988, but it affects all of us. This administration is one big dysfunctional family. And I remember therapy and codependent meetings from Al-Anon to ACOA and reading a zillion books about it. This is a dysfunctional, alcoholic, and druggy family. Right out of the textbook, but on the big scale of government. And that's pretty much how I've seen this, the last administration. But since it doesn't get any better, it's like so far worse now. So it does affect us. In fact, I remember one time when I was in group, and the therapist who was now, she was a family counselor, but also alcohol counselor. She was in recovery herself. And she came back from a conference on, codependency and the Al-Anon person and all of this. So there are a bunch of us sitting there, and she said, you know what, I learned the most amazing thing. And we said, what? She said, they told us that the Al-Anon will die before the alcoholic, and everyone in the room went, oh, really? I was the only one that didn't. I said, that makes sense. It makes sense. It really makes sense. I said, it's hard to explain, but I said, it makes all the sense in the world. So, which is saying that we as a country that have to, we're the collateral damage, and we are the damaged Al-Anons, but the real ones they're in the cabinet, they're in the Congress, they're the ones that could do something, and we're kind of like the people that are not quite in that orbit, but we're still affected. So yes, and there are lives involved. So let's see. Why does this matter to us? Get a card. Then the present energy is the Page of Wands. It's saying, do I need to light a fire under your behind to let you know that this does? Can't you see this? It's very obvious. And this should be the beginning of a revelation. So I'm going to make this one just a tad bit longer. So the energy of the overriding energy is, it's the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is trying to really get that message across. But in this particular deck, the Knight of Swords is he's run out of patience. So he's about ready to run this guy through because nobody's listening. What do I have to do? Do I have to kill you to make you listen? A little bit rash, but I think people are getting fed up, but this is a warning. It's a warning to say, look, you can't be crazy like they are. I know you want to do something, but you can't. So we're going to make this a little bit shorter. And opposing this is the Ten of Wands. And in this card, with it being in reverse, it's saying we cannot hang on to these any longer. It's too much. It's just too much. We are getting the message. There's nothing like a crazy drunk to get people's attention and say, no, this is one of those. See, these are all the straws that are breaking the camel's back. Okay, these are in reverse, the straws that broke. It's just one of the. It takes more than one. So we've got that in opposition. In the past, we have, oh my God, you cannot make this stuff up. Temperance in reverse. When it's upright, that means there's a handle on the sobriety. When it's in reverse, it's like, no, there's no sobriety here, which means that this is rippling out to the rest of us because there is a lot of harm. We know we're going through a lot of stress, and it's very bad to know and to worry. I mean, to worry that some crazy drunk is going to start a war with a country that doesn't need it. So it's not a distraction. This is throwing us off balance, and we are becoming the kind of like the back scene Al-Anon's suffering from all of this. And that's the reason why she said that is, I mean, people get colitis, they get heart disease and all this kind of stuff from the stress of dealing with the alcoholic, unless you get some sort of recovery going on. So let's see. I think I do need to do the conscious and subconscious. So consciously, where they are, how this is affecting us is that we're finally becoming aware that they are stealing from us. They're really stealing our peace of mind, the whole thing. And for now, it's frustrating because they're getting away with it. So consciously, we're finally seeing what's going on. Subconsciously, the King of Swords in reverse, which is a liar in chief. It's like underneath is kind of like, what whopper is he going to come up with today? And of course, he'll say, oh, you people are just imagining the fact that he's got a drinking problem. So what if he wants a cocktail or two after work? That doesn't affect his work. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he's going nuts saying, we can't have this crazy drunk. It's making me, with him, it's making me look bad. So we've got this underlying anxiety about the lie that he's going to tell. But this one is very hopeful because we're now becoming aware of what's going on. So let's see. In the present, we have with this, after this latest stunt, is the High Priestess in reverse, which means all the deep darks are coming out. They are going to be coming out. It's taking on a life of its own. There are the leakers. I think the leakers are talking about selling secrets to the Russian and this and that, and God only knows this other stuff. But it's also like the guy's a drunken lunatic, and now we have to see his wounded child, and he probably grew up in a massively dysfunctional family. God, who knows? Maybe his parents were in the Klan, or not saying they were for entertainment purpose, but it has that energy. Those tattoos are like white supremacist. He really needs to think about wearing a t-shirt when he swims now. Okay. So all these words, he is really exposing the shadow and dysfunction of America, which is a big educational experience, but we cannot have someone like that running the Department of Defense. Come on. Okay, so in the very near future, how this is going to affect us is, oh, thank God, we have justice. This is interesting. We have justice, but we have it's kind of like the combination of the Hierophant with the Pope figure with the two, the two students. They also look like the beggars in the what is it? I think it's the Six of Pentacles. I think, where the guy is giving he's giving the alms to the poor and he's holding the scales. I always thought those were kind of related. So that's the minor arcana. So this is very interesting. So justice is maybe, well, this is the Supreme Court. I think maybe justice is finally listening to the peasants. And this may be veering off on another topic, which I've done a couple videos about with the El Salvador thing. But this is a home thing, because I think now we have to worry about people being citizens being picked up off the street and all this sort of thing. But justice is saying, thank God she's upright. Thank God. Okay, so what justice is saying, you know what, I may be blind, but I don't have the blindfold off. I hear you. This is also about karma is stepping in. I want to believe that. Karma is stepping in and listening to these people say, I don't know how much more of this we can take. So in this instance, with his how his behavior and his drinking is affecting us, that there are those that are listening and are holding the scales of justice and getting ready to do something about it. Isn't going to come from the inside, because firing him is cosmetic and God only knows what they're going to put in to replace him. I mean, there could be some nasty, dysfunctional teetotaler, Christian evangelist, douchebag type of person. But this is very encouraging. I think there are going to be circumstances coming up that may start to put things a little bit more in our favor. I would say she's listening. It's the beginning. As we move further along, the Ten of Swords. This is I think why they call it the after. This is after the swords are pulled out and they're coming to I don't know if he's dead or not, but I would say that they're going to have that he could be dead drunk. Okay, so he will scream that it's everybody's fault and they all stuck the swords in my back, which may be a mirror to say we need to maybe see our own behavior, that maybe we do it on a smaller scale than he does, but he could be really holding up a mirror to the very, very dark side of our culture. So this is the aftermath of the swords. It looks like they pulled them out. They have pulled them out, and it's interesting because some of them are stuck in the ground. So they haven't covered him up, so and he's holding on to one of them. Very interesting. So this says a lot. I think that this is speaking in the background. I think there's some of the collateral damage, and what this is saying is that I get a sense they may be taking him to the hospital, which means there's going to be a lot of healing. He's going to spend a lot of time in there, and as quick as it was to do this damage, it's going to take a long time to undo it. So, in the hopes and the fears, we've got, interesting, this came up again. Four of Pentacles in reverse. This is like, we are really going to have to be giving up a lot of ideas that we were clinging to, and that's that the Democrats play nice at all costs. I think, thank God for Bernie, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and others, Jamie Raskin, all of these others that are getting on board, like drip, 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 little by little. But it doesn't mean we go to the dark side, but it's saying, grow a set. Really, we need to grow a set and give up on like oh, well, we're going to be better than them and let them walk all over us. I would say what's coming out of the, which is a very Al-Anon thing. That is very, very Al-Anon. I mean, I remember going to these meetings and these women still, oh, we have to play nicey nice. No, you don't. And this is something we've got to get over, because in the big picture, it's kind of like the MAGA, I won't even say Republicans, but the MAGAs have been these wild out there, like total going crazy in the bar on payday kind of people. And we've been like the, oh, well, maybe if we're nice to them, they'll stop drinking. So this is kind of an Al-Anon card. And it's saying it's in reverse. We have no choice. We have to let go of that thinking. And I'm glad that the alternative stations are talking about that. So the hope is that we will. The fear is that we won't. But I would say I'm getting a little bit more hope with this. So in conclusion, we have the Sixth of Wands, and seeing that it's coming to the realization that people as dysfunctional as that, they may seem like they're winning, but they, in the end, they lose. In the end, it's like, okay, he supposedly won the election, but that's something for another reading. I'll say I have my serious doubts about that for entertainment purposes only. But in fact, let's say, okay, all right, they won. But what did they win? What did they win? This is saying they really haven't won much. I would say that this card also has the message of be careful what you wish for, and what you think you may have won is an illusion. And this happens sometimes when in certain spreads when it comes up upright too. You have a victory, but how long is it going? So that brings us back to the, not only how much longer is he going to last, but how much longer is this whole thing going to last? So I wish I could tell you. I just don't see. I'm with I had it at 2 years on November 6th. It's been shrinking. I don't think, I'm not quite seeing it as this summer like some of them are saying, although I'd love for that to happen, but or even sooner. But I would say that no, that they're all, this is a big, this whole thing is it's kind of like the microcosm of what's happening. I would say he's pretty much toast, but he is the first domino to fall. There will be others, and that's because that's what he did the last time. But this may be the the revolving door that will make you dizzy like a drunk to go through. So we will just have to see what happens. So in the meantime, hang in there, and it's one day at a time getting through this. So see you soon. Bye.